Hi.
Hi, Ms. Mubashir. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for coming in today to discuss Kadim's standardized test. I hear you have a few questions for me.
Yes, I do. My child's performance level is based on his or her scale score. What is a scale score? Is this my child's actual score on the test?
No, a scale score is the grading number used in standardized testing to make up the total or composite score. The scale score number is not your child's actual score. It is more like a conversion, like that makes test scores equal and easy to read.
Oh, thank you.
And your child's score, I have it right here, was for 2009, 2010, 665.
Okay.
And the minimum was 670, so he fell short.
Oh, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I have another question.
Okay.
According to the most recent scale score, my child's performance level is a 2. What does this performance level mean, please?
According to the most recent scale score, your child's performance level is a 2, which basically means he met the basic standard. His student performance demonstrates a partial understanding of the mathematics content expected at this grade level. So he meets the basic standard, but he didn't meet the minimum standard.
Okay, I see that the test measured my child's ability in several areas called strands. Can you explain those strands? And can you give me an example of the kind of questions my child answered for each of the content strands?
Yeah. The test has several areas called strands, yes. The strands in this test are as followed. They are right here. And it says number, sense, and operation strands, which means students understand numbers, multiple ways of representing numbers, relationships among numbers, and number systems. They also understand meanings of operations and procedures and how they relate to one another. They compute accurately and make reasonable estimates. The next strand was the algebra strand, where students will represent and analyze algebraically a wide variety of problem-solving situations. The next one was geometry. Students use visualization and spatial reasoning to analyze characteristics and properties of geometric shapes. The fourth one was measurement, which students determined what can be measured and how. The fifth one was statistics and probability strand, where students collect, organize, display, and analyze data. So these are the different types of strands. And as you can see that the strand is basically like they're certain subjects, like different subjects in math, different areas of math where your student performed, and you could see he performed very strongly over in the algebra strand, like he went above average. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The report mentions an SPI. Is that the same thing as my child's scale score?
No, an SPI is basically a margin of error, which is right here, you could see.
SPI target range, okay.
Yeah, so there's a SPI target range as well, which establishes if a child has went above or below the target. But it is not the same as a scale score because the SPI shows where your child's error took place and if it is above or below the target range. It's like basically how many they got right in a section, right or wrong in a section. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does an SPI of 99 mean 99% correct on the test?
Not really. An SPI of 99 means the number they have got correct on that certain strand if it was out of 100. That's such the way the standardized tests, like they have a special grading system where they will convert everything and so you can see like if it was out of 100 how much they would get.
What is an SPI target range and how does it relate to my child's SPI?
An SPI target range is a range of numbers located in each strand. you could see right here, the SBI target range for the first strand is from 46 to 61. That's in 2009, 2010. And basically, students who reach or don't reach, which determines if they fall above or below the target range. A student scoring within the target range demonstrates the expected understanding of the content strand.
I have my child's report from last year. When I
Yes,
look at
right
the
here.
two most recent reports, I see that my child's performance in some strands has dramatically changed. Are these real changes?
The target ranges vary across content strands because some strands may contain more difficult items than others. As you can see, we're discussing right now 2009, 2010. But like you said, we have your child's 2008, 2009 tests, and you could see that they changed the minimum from 2008 to 2009. They changed it like from the 2009, 2010. Here, the minimum is 650. Over here, it's 670. So you can see that the reason why your child's score varies is because they changed that, and also they changed the SBI target range as well. You can see from here it's 33 to 45, and up here it's 46 to 61. So that's the reason why you see a dramatic change in that. But you could see in some areas your child improved, in some of them he didn't. But we can discuss that later.
Does the way the test is constructed impact how my child performs? And what was last year's test like, and how might it have shaped my child's score?
The way the test is constructed very much does impact how your child performs. Last year's test was constructed the same way as this year's test. It contains all 5 of the same strands. Last year's test helped shape your child's score through a different SBI target range, which is why you see a big difference. Also, the minimum for meeting the standard was different last year than it is this year. So basically, if you want to look at some questions from the test. Is that your question?
Questions from the test?
Yeah, like some examples from the test.
Yeah.
That I have them here. I have some questions from the test for the mathematics section. The first one is multiple choice.
Okay.
See, like this type of, which measure is equivalent to 1.5 kilograms? 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. And the child would have to pick A, B, C, or D.
Okay.
These are examples of multiple choice questions. And as for the critical thinking questions, they're over here, which an example would be like, Jerry plans to build a deck that is 189 square feet. What is the prime factorization of 189? Write your answer in exponential form. He answered 94.5, but he did not show his work, so he got, so some points were deducted.
Oh, that's like a sample, basically.
Yeah, these are, this is actually his test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What can you tell me about my child's performance relative to the performance of his peers?
In this year's testing, Karim did not reach the minimum for meeting the standard. Yet he was fairly close. He scored above average in strand 5, which is statistics and probability strand. He scored above average in his class. There was only 2 people who did that, and he was one of the 2. And so he's very good at that, as you could see. He also scored above average in strand 1, which is number sense and operations. He fell below average compared to his classmates in these 3 strands.
Geometry, right?
Geometry, measurement, and algebra. Yeah.
Okay, even though he likes math, so we have to work on that.
Yes.
So, what areas of the test did my child do well on, and what areas does my child need to work on?
Your child did very well on the algebra strand.
Oh, that's what we just went over now?
Yeah, the algebra
Okay.
strand, he got a 71 when the SBI target range was 61 to 69. He scored above the target range. Your child also did very well in geometry.
So he
like we
needs
said.
to work on. He needs to work on which strand because
he needs improvements in the first strand, which is number sense and operation strand. As you can see, he had a 25 when the SBI target range is 46 to 61. So he scored below it.
Here but too, and geometry too.
Yeah, in geometry as well.
And in the measurement.
I would say he struggles the most in the number sense and operation strand.
Because that's the lowest score.
Yeah.
I have to work on that.
Yeah. There's always room for improvement.
Bottom line, should I trust this information about my child? Why or why not?
Yes, you should trust this information about your child because standardized test scores show us where your child stands compared to, the rest of the children. I don't know if you know, but it's part of the No Child Left Behind Act, the standardized tests, and the reason why we have them. We are also able to see, I'm sitting down here with you. We could see what Kedim needs help in, what he can improve what areas he needs to improve in, or what areas he is great in. So this really is helpful for our teaching curriculum. Okay. So it's very helpful for our teaching curriculum.
So I can trust these tests.
Yes, you can, Miss Mubashir.
Okay, that helps a lot.
Are you sure? Do you have any more questions for me? Would you like to ask me anything else?
We just have to work on the areas he needs help with to improve.
So the test is clear to you. Do you understand it now?
Yeah.
For next year.
Yes.
Well, Kedim is a great kid. Thank you so much for coming in.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.